young man noticed that the stepping stone under the table was a treasure. However, he pointed to a vase and asked the shop owner how much it cost. The owner, seeing that the young man chose an inexpensive vase, said he'd sell it for $200. The young man bought the vase without hesitation. A rich second-generation heir mocked the young man, calling him a fool trying to appraise treasures like an expert. Even the female CEO suggested he choose another treasure. But the young man looked at the vase in his hands, convinced of his judgment. He speculated that the vase's contents must be worth over $10 million. The CEO initially thought her grandfather had misjudged the young man's appraisal skills, and doubted he wasn't the treasure expert they were seeking. However, the grandfather disagreed. At this point, the heir ridiculed the young man, claiming he had bought trash. To prove the vase was valuable, the young man proposed a bet with the heir. He would wager his $1 million city property, betting that each of the 3 treasures he picked was worth over $10 million. If he lost, the property would go to the heir. If he won, the heir and his mistress would kneel and apologize to the young man's mother. The mistress was furious. The heir, feeling confident, vowed to make the young man regret it. He even said the young man's wager of just one property wasn't enough, and demanded he raise the stakes. If the young man lost, he would have to strip and crawl on the floor like a dog. The owner laughed at the young man's boast, saying that he had appraised antiques his entire life without such certainty. But the young man dared to claim each of the 3 treasures would be worth millions. The heir claimed he didn't want to bully the young man, but since a treasure appraisal expert was on site today, they might as well have the expert appraise the young man's vase. Soon, a waiter brought over appraisal tools. The expert picked up a magnifying glass and flashlight to examine the vase. After a while, he concluded, while the vase looked like it was from the Qing dynasty, it was actually a modern replica. Although well-made, it was only worth $300. Hearing the expert's assessment, everyone began laughing at the young man. The mistress believed he'd lost the bet, demanding that he get on all fours and crawl like a dog. The young man interpreted the expert's comment as indicating the vase itself wasn't valuable, but guessed the expert had noticed something hidden inside. The heir, unaware, insisted the expert had said the vase wasn't valuable, and urged the young man to crawl like a dog. The owner also urged him to get down and bark. The young man mocked them for being blind fools. He said the real treasure was right in front of them, but they couldn't see it. Enraged, the heir insulted the young man, who then smashed the vase on the ground, revealing a glowing pearl inside. Everyone was immediately stunned. However, the heir and his mistress insisted it was just an ordinary pearl, and continued demanding he crawl like a dog. The expert suddenly picked up the pearl, examined it, and declared it was a rare luminous pearl. After wiping it, its brilliance became even more dazzling. He then appraised the luminous pearl, valuing it at least $10 million. The young man won the first round of the bet. The expert confirmed that the young man was indeed the treasure appraiser he'd been seeking, but the heir refused to admit defeat, believing the young man had only gotten lucky in the first round. So, he proposed a second round. The young man pointed to the stepping stone and said he chose that stone. The heir and shop owner were both shocked, and challenged him to prove the stone was worth over $10 million.